Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across the UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by the amazing Ashley Green. Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
Adorable. I
Um,
love it. Guys, Ashley's on the show today because she is the amazing founder and director of the Green Heart Wellbeing program. She is an amazing psychologist. She brings lots of positive energy and psychology to education, to young people, to members of the community. Please, Ashley, tell me your story and what got you started in this space.
Thank you firstly for having me on here, Sarah. Honestly, your energy is just like so big and lovely. It's like sunshine. I'm sure you hear that all the time. So thank you so much for having us on. So yeah, like my story, I was a teacher for a long time, 15 years, and along that journey, as everyone knows who works in the education space, it's hard. Students know it's hard, staff know it's hard. It's a struggle, had my own mental health struggles, then started studying positive psychology and coaching psychology and just had like a light bulb moment like, why are we not teaching children this stuff? So, of course, that wasn't my original idea. The more I went into that world, the more amazing people I found, the more people that I learned from. But it was quite a new thing at the time here in Dubai. I went to China with the KHDA in 2017 as part of like a wellbeing team. And it was all just to grow this space, especially for young people. So it's learning right from 3 all the way up to 103. Everyone can access benefits of positive psychology. So that's part of my mission. But it's more fun to work with the teeny tiny people. So that's why Green Heart Wellbeing does that.
That's amazing. It's so cool that you work with so many different ages. You're bringing something which is, I would say, relatively new to the UAE. I haven't seen this before in Dubai in particular. What kind of challenges came with you kind of creating this program or this concept almost in this country?
Well, to be honest, it was I'd say the biggest problem was myself, as in like I was in teaching, which is a really stable job, and I had all these big ideas and I was trying to do too many things at one time. So I guess like once I started learning more about the space and what I could contribute to the field of psychology, positive psychology is like a branch of it. I think I probably took longer to do it than I should have, because it was scary. It was scary to jump out of a stable career and try and make a change. But the school that I worked in, and obviously KHDA and everything, it's like this ethos of make a difference. And that's what the UAE is. The UAE makes difference in people's lives. And I really just wanted to be part of that. And I'd written some children's books while I was still teaching, and I still use them today, like 5, 6 years later, because the work still is growing. So yeah, I'd say that I didn't find it a problem. People are so willing to learn about these things. They want growth. So that's not a problem. I'd say the first problem was me just getting started. But now that I've started, I'm thoroughly enjoying every industry, every person that I meet, like yourself, that wants to learn more about it. And it's like, how can we use this to help me grow? And it's just such a lovely element of psychology. So yeah.
I love the passion in your voice. Like you really are speaking from the heart. You're speaking about something that you really enjoy doing, and it's something that is doing such good for the community. What does a typical day in the life look like for you, Ashley?
Oh, God. Well, to be honest, I feel like as a founder, every day changes, much like teaching changes. Every day is different, and that's why many people go into teaching and they talk about it that way. Kids, you just never know what they're going to say and do, and it's all part of the fun. So at the moment, a typical day, I would say, of course, all the admin side of the business, social media, the finances, all that stuff. But then there's a real creative part. Like I get to create the after school clubs that I do for children. I get to create sessions in one-to-one positive psychology coaching. I get to make resources, all the books and card packs that I've made. And also now I'm moving more into corporate. So there's typically a bit of networking involved each day somewhere along the line. And then meeting new people, sharing the work, learning about other people's work, finding ways to work together. And it's just, like I say, every day is different and just really enjoyable. It's hard. Like, let's not get away from the hardness of it all. But I'm like, that's my growth. My growth is learning how to do all this stuff. So yeah, I'd say every day is different. But most days I have at least an hour with a group of children. And, I feel like that is the injection of energy that I need for the rest of the day because, it can be chaotic and also really beautiful.
I love that. That is beautiful. It's so cool that you are you're treating every day as a school day, pun intended. Learning everything kind of step by step and being open to that, especially as somebody who's kind of doing your own business essentially. What is there any kind of moment or memory that you have that made an impact on you or surprised you or really kind of made you laugh even throughout your journey?
Do you know, I've been thinking about this question and it's hard because I feel like any teacher or founder is able to sit and actually talk about a million different stories. But there's two things that spring to mind. A real special moment was on one World Book Day, and one of the children in my class, this must have been about 6 or 7 years ago, came into school dressed as one of the characters in my book. So my little children's book is called The Emo Beans and the Feelings, and it's just like little green beans. And he came in with like a full green bodysuit and a big cardboard bean on the front, and I was just like, oh my God, like loved everything about it. And I just thought, well, there's the impact in action, as in like that was emotional literacy, that was development, creativity, like lots of things in the book. And there he was dressed up as an emo bean, so I loved that. And a story also comes to mind. From a very first year teaching here in Dubai, which was now like almost 16 years ago. And I had a little group of 5-year-olds, and like they were in the playground, and there was this giant tire, like a big tractor sized tire. And one of the little boys looked at me and he's like, so we need to move this from here over there. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, just because we just do. And I'm like, okay, because that's what kids want to do. And without any facilitation from me or any support, I could see the problem solving, the collaboration, the teamwork, and it was an international school, kids from everywhere, just this really beautiful moment of perseverance, strength, collaboration, helping each other grow, lifting each other up, moving the tire from one place to another. And as soon as they moved it over, that was it, they all just dispersed. But I always think about that because I'm like, that is what being human is all about. It's like helping each other when they need something. And I just think talking to you and when we were thinking about stories and stuff and being a teacher, the thing is we can learn so much about being human from tiny children who've not been here that long. So that's probably the two main things that come to mind. And again, both connected to kids because they're just like, they're our teachers. Yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting as well, like how much energy and how much learning we get, as you said, from children. The irony is that they're still growing, their brains are still developing. All these skills that you're referring to are so basic, but we forget these things as we grow into adults. And the fact that we find children more enjoyable says a lot about how we get to be as adults, which is a whole other conversation for another day.
I'm sure there's some people listening would agree that when they're in the office or whatever, they feel like they're surrounded by children. But, there's lots that we can learn from little ones. And again, like you say, they're learning how to be human in real time. And also, it's exhausting sometimes. I'm not a parent, but I'm sure parents sometimes are like, yeah, I'm a bit tired answering 100 questions a day. But yeah, they are definitely life's biggest teachers. And it's a privilege to have that and be so close to that.
That's so cute. And this brings us to my final question for you today, Ashley. If there was one word of advice you would give to listeners who are trying to start their own thing, start something new, take that risk, what would you tell them?
So I can't really take credit for this sentence, but it's Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. That book changed my life. And then when I connected it to my own self, the thing that I want to kind of share with the listeners from a Green Heart perspective is like what your soul is searching for and what your soul needs to do will keep showing up and keep showing up and keep showing up in different ways until you give it the attention. I feel like you're here on the earth for a reason, your purpose, whatever it is. And the longer you ignore it, the more difficult things might become, and it can be hard because, like you say, we're in this busy life, we've got so much to do and keep going and pay bills and but your soul will keep showing you what it is you're supposed to be doing. So listen to it. That's what I would say.
That is awesome. It's so important to listen to your gut, like you said, listen to what your body is telling you. We tend to forget that our bodies are the biggest indicators of whether or not we're heading in the right direction. If we're not feeling well from like a physical perspective, a mental health perspective, we tend to ignore the warning signs, but it's so important for us to remember to stay in tune with our bodies. And that is obviously directly related to like psychology and the energy that we kind of give out is the energy that we also take in as well. So thank you so much for sharing your amazing journey with me today, Ashley.
Thank you. And can I be really cheeky now and ask you a question? What do you think that your soul is looking for? Like, what's the thing that calls you all the time? I feel like I might know, but
In terms of like my long-term goals in life, I would say what calls me is just the basic foundation of happiness. Whether that comes with money, without money, whether that comes with kids, no kids, whether that comes in whatever country I live in, for me, the basic foundation is happiness and just being around positive people. I feed off of like I'm a massive extrovert. I feed off of positive energy. I love being out and about just for the sake of being outside the house in general, just because I mean I live in a great house. I'm very fortunate, but just to be around people, I feed off of that positive energy. So happiness in whatever form that shows and being around people like you.
oh, I love that. And do you know what? That's what I said to you at the beginning. You are just happiness. Like it just emanates off you. So I love that. You're definitely living your life purpose. So thanks so much, Sarah. I've loved talking to you.
Of course. Thank you very much, Ashley, and I can't wait to hear from you soon.